everybody. Today we're talking about picking the right audience for your ads. This is for Facebook, this is for Google, this is for TikTok, this is for LinkedIn. All these channels have come up with very precise and specific ways to target your people to make it way easier for you to get the most out of your advertising budget. So why does this matter? The reason this matters is because most of our money is wasted on the wrong audience. Even I, as a seasoned, trained expert, I know sometimes I drop the ball when I don't properly target my audience or I don't fine tune it to be the best version of itself. So with that, I would like to start quickly. My name is, yes, I came up with placards. So, right. So I'm reading a book by called The Deep by Seth Godin, and he says something that is very straightforward, and I thought I should mention it in this video. He says the difference between the best and the second best or the third best is worlds apart. Like, for example, think about the fastest horse. I love this example. In a race, it's only 2 seconds or 1 second or 3 seconds faster than the slowest horse, which could be number 10 or number 5. But in terms of winnings, the fastest horse gets 10 times or 100 times more than what the 4th, 5th, or 10th horse gets. So why do I talk about the horses? So I want your audience, you to pick the best audience for you to get the most returns on your results. So when you're running your Facebook, when you're running your ads, when you're running your Google, when you're running your LinkedIn ads, you need to heavily consider your audience before you start in your ads. Even if you have the best ad, the best creative, the best video, it won't take you far as long as you have the worst audience. And with that, I want us to have a conversation on 9 things or 9 topics that I think you should consider when picking up your right audience. And with that, let's get started. So the first point is understanding what you're really selling. This might seem like very straightforward or very, right on the nose, but very few people understand, or very few marketers understand. They're not selling an actual feature, an actual product. They're selling benefits that the consumer will buy. There's a very big difference between selling and buying. Selling is you telling somebody they need something. Buying is the same individual actually buying what you're selling. But people don't follow strict rules like that, like what I've just said. Like, for example, you have simple products like shoes, consumer experiences, or a fitness app. People don't buy that stuff. People buy the feeling behind it. People buy the emotion behind it. People buy the benefit or how they'll be better off after buying your actual products. Like, for example, let me give an example of how people buy stuff according to a functional benefit. Let's say when you have an item, the first question you should ask yourself is, what does your product solve? And number 2, what are the end results of me if somebody is to buy my actual product or service? Like, for example, buying a water bottle or selling a water bottle. People don't buy water bottles, they buy hydration on the go. You don't sell accounting software, you sell time saving and functionality. You don't sell handmade furniture, you sell a beautiful home and a cozy house. People also buy on the emotional benefit of your product or service. For example, think about or ask yourself harder questions in terms of, how do my customers feel after using my product or service? What is the desired outcome, or what insecurity am I trying to address? Simple example is a watch. It just does time. But if you're selling a watch, you're selling status, you're selling success, you're selling the feeling of being accomplished. Another thing to think about is a skincare routine. You're not just selling clear skin, you're selling beauty, you're selling confidence, selling feeling attractive, and self-care. A last example on this is when it comes to selling car insurance. You're not just selling a financial solution. No, you're selling peace of mind, you're selling security, and you're selling an idea that somebody is responsible. Lastly, when you're thinking about what you're really selling, you should think about the link to your audience, like who actually buys this, who cares about this benefit, and who is this gonna transform the most. This helps you to break down properly on how to properly position or put your product or service. The second point I would like to bring about is I'd like to talk about your buyer persona. Sorry about that. Your buyer persona. The buyer persona is extensive research on your actual customer, people who actually need your product, people who actually need your service, people who actually need your solution. And this is extensive and it focuses on the demographics, like for example, age, which is age, gender, income, and location. You're thinking about your career and lifestyle, their job role, their daily routine, their time constraint. You're thinking about their goals and motivation. This is what they want to achieve and what value do they want to get. You're thinking about their pain points. The pain points is what frustrates them, what overwhelms them. And lastly, you think about their tech and media habits, media consumption habits. What contents do they engage with the most? What platforms do they use the most? So the reason for this is this helps you come up with the right platform, the right messaging, and increases your chance of actually making a sale. An example of a buyer persona of a lady could be you're looking at a character called Lydia. She's 35. She's a HR manager. She lives in, let's say, London. Her frustration, she doesn't have time for skincare routines. Her motivation is to look as beautiful and as confident as possible. And her habits, she's mostly on Instagram and she's influenced by beauty creators. This gives you a human centered approach to your marketing and to your messaging so you know who exactly you're looking for and who to avoid. Another way, or point number 3, is in defining your perfect audience is looking at what you already have. The questions you should be asking yourself is, who am I selling to already? What are the characteristics? Who's engaging with my product or services or my social media content or my website? You want to find out about who comes to you, who buys your product, who engages with your content, who sells your product, and who refers to you. And one of the ways of finding out this information, thanks to technology, you can go through your Meta and look at the Meta Business Suite and look at your audience insights. You will see the age and gender of your followers, where you're at the location of your followers, your most engaged posts, your most engaged content. You want to look at the behavioral patterns in terms of clicks, shares, and comments. For your website, you look at your Google Analytics and where you'll see where they're from, how old they are, and which pages they visited, and see if they are more likely to buy your products or not. If you have an email list, you look at the open rates, the click rates, and which content gets the most engagement in your campaigns. If you have an e-commerce site, you look at who's buying, what products is more profitable, and how often they come to buy, and the average order size for your baskets. So the basic things to look at for your current audience, who you're already feeding to or who you're already serving, is age groups, sex in terms of male or female, where you getting your audience from. Are you getting them from social media? Are you getting them from the Google? Location of your users or your buyers, and lastly, what type of content do people engage with most? Is it your blog posts, or is it your testimonials, or is it just general information from your site? The fourth point I'd like to touch on or look into is the stage of awareness, or rather, the awareness pyramid. There are times when you're talking to somebody and they're not ready yet. It's not that they're not the right customers, it's just that they don't know how big of a problem there is. Because there are like 5 stages of awareness. There is unaware, problem aware, solution aware, product aware, and most aware. So you want to target them or talk them at the right stage for them to buy a product or service. For example, let's talk about somebody who is unaware. This is somebody who doesn't know they have a problem. Like, for example, let's use a practical example. There's a lady who feels tired all the time, and this could be connected to poor sleeping habits. So she doesn't know what's wrong. She's just tired. So what kind of content or what kind of ad do you send to a person like this? This is when you use curiosity, storytelling, emotional triggers that focuses on the problem and not the solution you have for her. When she moves to the next stage where she's problem aware, so she knows she has a sleeping problem, and that is why she's tired. So obviously she could be Googling and asking herself, why am I always tired? At this point, the content you send to her or the ads you send to her are educational in terms of you're giving them hints or ideas of or possible solutions of why she is tired all the time. And the next level of being aware is being solution aware. Solution where she knows that she can buy supplements, she needs a better mattress or a therapy to help her with the sleeping. And at this point, what you tell her is you try and position yourself as a better solution to whatever problem she's having compared to your competitors. And the next level is being product aware. This is where she has visited your site, she has visited your page, she has visited your content, but she's not right there to purchase. So how you can convert her in this stage is by using social proof in terms of testimonials. You can use demos, and you can show her how best your solution is as opposed to other competitors. And the most important stage is when she's most aware and she's ready to buy. She's seen your products, she's compared it with everybody, and she's just waiting for the last nudge to buy your product. So at this stage, the content or ads you'll be sending to her is you'll be using discounts, telling her the stock is limited, and you're looking for, and you could be having bonuses to help sell this product. The fifth point is coming up with your audience is picking the right platform. We all know all platforms are not created equally. There is LinkedIn, there is Meta, there is TikTok, and there's YouTube. All of them have a different audience. All of them have different characteristics, and all of them have a different way of approaching them. It could be the same individual visiting TikTok, could be the same individual on Instagram, could be the same individual on YouTube, but when they approach these platforms, they have a different mentality. So you should always be aware of how to message your product. Like for example, when thinking about Meta, which is Instagram and Facebook, you want to consider age, gender, location. You want to consider interest in terms of fitness or travel. You want to consider behavioral attitudes, like if they're online shoppers, or if they're frequent travelers, or they just got married. You want to also consider if they've visited your website. You want to consider if they've engaged with your page, or rather if you have contacts from them. And then also, because Facebook gives you the option of lookalike audience, you want to think about how people who are similar to your current audience can benefit from your product or service, your solution. When thinking about Google Ads is it's mostly focused on intent and it focuses on keywords if people are more inclined to buy your product or not. So when targeting your audience in Google, you'll think about keyword-based targeting, location-based targeting, and when is the best time to reach your audience. Google is partners with has the display and YouTube ads, where you have the benefit of marketing or placing your ads on websites and YouTube. And here you're going to think about in-market audiences, which this is where people are searching for your products on YouTube or on the website. Affinity audience, this is where people who have long-term interests on your items or your solution. There's customer segmentation, where based on keywords and websites, that's how the targeting is done. And lastly, remarketing. TikTok ads is close to Facebook because it has interest-based targeting, behavior targeting, hashtag and creator interaction, and lookalike audience. While LinkedIn, on the other hand, if you're targeting people there, you'd think about the job title, the industry, the company size. You think about education, you think about degree and level of seniority in the company. Also, location targeting is available on these platforms. The sixth point about defining your best audience is through retargeting. I mentioned working on your current audience to see how best to best define who is working for you. But now this is a bit different because now we're talking about customers who've been to your site and you haven't bought yet. So we know that it takes 5 to 12 touches before somebody decides to buy from you, and you want to be there with them to remind them about your product, remind them about your service, however long they are in their journey, through retargeting and through remarketing. This is very powerful and has moved the needle for most of us. So when you're retargeting, you can retarget according to several things. People who visited your website, for example, people who watched your video, clicked on your ad, engaged with your posts on Facebook and Instagram, added products to their cart and haven't bought yet, or they have subscribed to your email list. There are a custom audience. This is audiences that is defined according to user behavior, such as your customer list. This is emails, phone numbers you have, web visitors, app users, social media engagers, or engagements, people who have filled out a lead form, people who have messaged your page. Right, so thinking about retargeting and how best to make the most of it, you can come up with a campaign for those who abandon the cart. They actually put a product on their cart, but they didn't actually go ahead and buy it. You can come up with a campaign for those people. There is video retargeting, and through this retargeting, you get people who have watched 50% or more of your videos, because this shows they're interested in your pitch. You think about web visitors. These are visitors who came to your site and didn't do anything. You can bring them back by offering discounts. You can tell them about your limited stock options, and by providing social proof by going like, so many number of people have actually bought the product you're looking for. And lastly is taking advantage of email by sending them frequent notifications, frequent emails, maybe once a month or twice a month, about the product or services. There's a lookalike audience, which is available on Google and Meta products. This is where you target people who have not been to your product, or who have not been to your website, or don't know about you, but they are similar to your current clients or client customer profile. And this works brilliant for many people. So why does retargeting work? Retargeting works because you're showing up to people who already know your business. It builds trust and familiarity. There's brand visibility. Conversions are way higher, And lastly, it is way easier to convert a warm audience like this than a cold one. The seventh point in defining your audience is looking at people who are in your business and who are doing it better. The only other people who know your audience maybe better than you is your competition. So what do you want to do? You want to do a deep dive and see what your competition is doing. How do you do this? You do this by picking your competition, your top 3 or top 5 competition in your industry, in your location, and who are serving the same clients. You want to understand who they're targeting. You want to understand the messaging that they're using that is resonating with their audience. And lastly, you want to look at if there are content gaps or if there are places they're missing out for you to capitalize. So why is this important? Because your competition has already spent time, they've already spent money. So you want to skip the first stage and you don't want to reinvent the wheel. You also want to save money. So you're going to look at which audience segments are more profitable by and looking at your competition, which content is most attractive and which gets the most engagement, which are the pain points and desires they're trying to address, and lastly, which platform does your competition thrive on. So how do you identify your audience, competitors' audience? I've mentioned look for people in your industry, your top 3, top 5, who have the same product or service you're selling, targeting the same region or market, are actively advertising online either through Facebook or Google. You can use Facebook ads library to see which ads are being run by your competition. You can see what ads they're running. You can see what ad copy they're using, the content, the creatives. You can look at the tone, the messaging, and the call to action. And from there, you can model yours to be better or similar to what they're doing. You can go to their website and their social media pages to see what kind of content they're posting and the reaction in terms of likes, shares, and comments. You can check on who's engaging their comments by looking at their profiles. You can also understand the language being used to get the most results in terms of conversions. So the things you'll be looking at is things that try to address the most, like what are the repeated pain points they're trying to talk about, which influencers they're collaborating with, which content themes are getting the strongest reaction, and lastly, are there any gaps in the messaging that you feel you can address or talk about more? Let's talk about A/B testing. A/B testing is splitting your audience using the same creative, using the same setup, but now checking on how well they respond to your audience responds to your creative, and to see how best to make the most of it. It doesn't do. All you just need to do is split. Just make one different variation to see if you're getting or you could get better results. Like for example, you can split between men and women. You can do a test between different age sets, maybe 20 to 30 versus 30 to 40. You see how best your ads are being responded to, or how they're resonating with your audience. And through this, you can improve your targeting and you can improve how best to improve your conversion and everything. So why do you want to test your audience? You want to see which is your best performing audience. You want to stop wasting your budget through the low performing audience. You want to refine your targeting over time to get better results. You have to scale your winning audience and get more of them to get better results. When you're split testing, you want to think about a few things. You want to think about the click-through rate. You want to think about the cost per lead. You want to think about the cost per click or the cost per mail. And you want to think about the conversion rate. So whichever audience gives you the better of the two or the better of all of these, that's the one you improve on and you focus on. And lastly, once you've done this at the beginning of your campaign or in the middle of your campaigns, you always need to test and refine. Marketing is a continuous progress, a process. It never stops. You always have to keep adjusting. You always have to keep improving. You always have to keep doing this and doing that to get the best returns. Why do you want to do this? You want to do this because you want to reduce your costs. You want to get higher click-through rates. You want to increase your conversion rate, and you want to get a better return on your ad spend. The things that would help you once you're refining or improving your monitoring is you want to consider your click-through rate, conversion rate, cost per acquisition, your frequency, number of times people have seen your ads, and lastly, your relevancy or quality score. It goes to show you if people are resonating with your audience better. So how often do you need to refine? Or how do you refine your audience? This can be done weekly or bi-weekly, checking on data to see what's working and what's not working. You can adjust on user behavior. This can be done by checking if which age groups is converting better, or which gender is converting better. Once you see some certain segment or certain audience is not doing so good, you can exclude them from your ads. You can use a lookalike audience to get see if you can get a bigger pool and a wider reach. And lastly, you can survey your audience to see if your content or ads are working for you. So in conclusion, marketing or digital marketing generally is not speaking to the void or shouting to everybody. Marketing is speaking to one specific person and addressing them. This way you are ensured of getting better results, and you're ensured you are better placed or primed to give your business the best lead or best boost it needs to grow. So with talking to one person, you're able to come up with more persuasive copy or better visuals. Your creatives are more relevant and they resonate better. Your budget is more efficiently spent. Your conversion will go up, and most importantly, your return on investment is up here. With that, I want to say thank you, and until next time.